Your dog has been calling you family long before you ever noticed it. Most people believe dogs simply obey whoever feeds them, shelters them, or opens the front door each evening. But hidden beneath those ordinary routines is something deeper, older, and surprisingly emotional that most humans completely overlook every single day. Somewhere between evolution and attachment, dogs developed an extraordinary ability to emotionally assign roles inside their social world. And when your dog quietly decides you are their parent, their behavior begins changing in subtle, almost invisible ways. The strange part is that many of these signs look ordinary at first glance. A stare across the room, a sigh beside your feet, a nervous reaction when you disappear briefly behind a closed door. Scientists studying canine cognition discovered dogs process emotional attachment in ways surprisingly similar to human infants. Their brains release calming chemicals around trusted caretakers, especially during eye contact, touch, safety, and predictable emotional reassurance. That means your dog is not merely surviving beside you. They are emotionally organizing their world around your presence, your voice, your moods, and your reactions in ways that quietly shape their nervous system every day. And once you understand these signs, many moments from your dog's life suddenly feel different. Smaller moments become emotional evidence. Familiar habits begin carrying hidden meaning. Ordinary routines start sounding almost heartbreakingly personal. Behaviorists often describe dogs as socially dependent mammals, but that phrase barely captures the emotional complexity unfolding inside their minds. Dogs are constantly scanning for safety, leadership, emotional stability, and reassurance from specific individuals they deeply trust. In nature, survival depended on staying close to protective figures capable of providing security and guidance. Modern dogs still carry those instincts, except now they attach those ancient emotional systems directly onto the humans they love most. This explains why dogs frequently mirror emotional states without training. They react to sadness, stress, excitement, and grief because attachment rewired their brains to treat certain humans as emotional anchors rather than simple companions. Researchers observing bonded dogs noticed something extraordinary during separation experiments. Many dogs displayed stress patterns nearly identical to children separated from parental figures, including pacing, vocalization, emotional withdrawal, and intense reunion relief afterward. Your dog may never understand mortgages, careers, or human language completely, but emotionally, they absolutely understand dependence, safety, trust, and belonging. Those emotional categories matter far more inside a dog's social reality than words ever could. One of the strongest signs appears when your dog constantly checks your location, even while pretending to relax. They lift their head whenever you move, quietly following your footsteps without needing attention or rewards in return. Most owners interpret this behavior as clinginess or boredom. Sometimes they even feel guilty, believing the dog lacks independence. But emotionally, your dog is performing attachment monitoring, the same instinct social mammals use around protective figures they deeply trust. Your dog is not following because they doubt themselves. They follow because your location regulates emotional safety inside their nervous system. Knowing where you are allows their brain to relax, settle, and feel socially protected from uncertainty. To your dog, your movement through the house matters because you are psychologically central to their world. You are not furniture inside their environment. You are the environment emotionally organizing their sense of stability and belonging. Another powerful sign appears when your dog looks directly into your eyes during emotional moments, instead of avoiding contact. Many dogs instinctively avoid prolonged eye contact unless deep trust and emotional bonding already exist between both individuals. People often mistake those lingering stares as requests for food, treats, or walks. Sometimes that is true. But many times your dog is actually seeking emotional synchronization, silently checking your mood, and reinforcing attachment through visual connection. Studies involving oxytocin revealed that mutual gazing between dogs and humans activates bonding chemicals remarkably similar to those released between parents and infants. Your dog literally feels calmer and more emotionally connected while looking directly at you. That quiet stare across the room may seem insignificant for humans rushing through daily routines. But inside your dog's emotional world, it becomes reassurance, familiarity, and confirmation that their trusted protector still remains emotionally available nearby. You may notice your dog sleeping closest to your bedroom door, beside your bed, or directly against your body whenever possible. That positioning is rarely random, despite how casual or routine it eventually appears over time. Many owners assume dogs simply enjoy warmth, comfort, or soft blankets. While those things matter, sleeping location also reflects vulnerability management. Dogs instinctively sleep nearest individuals they trust most during their physically defenseless resting states. In animal social structures, proximity during sleep signals extraordinary trust because unconsciousness creates vulnerability. Your dog chooses closeness because their nervous system associates your presence with protection, predictability, and reduced environmental threat during deeply relaxed moments. When your dog sighs heavily before falling asleep beside you, something emotionally profound is happening internally. Their body is releasing tension because attachment allows their brain to temporarily stop scanning the environment for danger or uncertainty. Another revealing sign appears during stressful situations. Loud thunder, fireworks, crowded spaces, unfamiliar visitors, or sudden pain often send dogs searching specifically for one trusted person instead of randomly seeking comfort from anyone nearby. Many people think their dog simply prefers them more than others inside the household. But emotionally, the behavior runs deeper. Your dog instinctively seeks the individual their brain identifies as the safest emotional regulator during moments of fear. This mirrors attachment behavior observed across mammalian species. When danger appears, young or dependent animals naturally move toward protective figures capable of restoring emotional stability and reducing stress responses inside the nervous system. If your frightened dog presses tightly against your legs instead of hiding completely alone, they are revealing something profound. Their brain genuinely believes your presence increases emotional safety even before the external threat actually disappears. Some dogs constantly bring toys, socks, blankets, or random objects directly to one specific human. At first it seems playful or silly, yet resource-sharing behaviors often carry hidden social meaning connected deeply to trust and emotional attachment. Owners commonly assume the dog simply wants attention or games. But in canine social behavior, offering valued objects reflects emotional openness and relational bonding. Your dog is voluntarily sharing things psychologically important within their personal environment. Wild social animals frequently exchange resources with trusted group members because emotional security reduces possessiveness. When your dog repeatedly places treasured objects beside you, they are symbolically including you inside their emotional circle of safety. Even stranger, some dogs leave objects beside sleeping owners without demanding interaction afterward. That small action quietly suggests emotional offering rather than play solicitation, almost like your dog feels safest placing meaningful possessions near their trusted caregiver. One deeply emotional sign appears when your dog watches your emotional state more carefully than your commands. They notice tension in your shoulders, changes in breathing, sadness in your voice, or silence replacing familiar routines. Many humans underestimate this sensitivity because dogs cannot verbally explain what they notice. But canine brains evolved specifically around reading social cues quickly, especially from emotionally important individuals, guiding their sense of environmental safety. Your dog may approach gently during difficult moments, rest their head against your leg, or remain unusually quiet beside you. These reactions are not random coincidences. They reflect emotional monitoring connected directly to attachment and caregiving instincts. Dogs who view humans as parental figures frequently prioritize emotional connection over entertainment. In certain moments, your emotional condition matters more to them than toys, food, or excitement because their social brain is deeply invested in you. Another remarkable sign appears when your dog celebrates your return with overwhelming emotional intensity, even after brief separations. The excitement often exceeds simple happiness because reunion temporarily resolves genuine attachment stress accumulated during your absence. People joke that dogs act dramatically after owners leave for 10 minutes. But neurologically, separation from attachment figures genuinely affects canine stress systems, especially among highly bonded dogs emotionally dependent on specific humans for reassurance. That spinning, crying, jumping, or frantic tail wagging is not merely excitement about future activities. Your dog is experiencing emotional relief because the person regulating familiarity, safety, and structure inside their world has finally returned home safely. Some dogs even calm down immediately after confirming your presence again. They stop pacing, relax their breathing, or quietly settle nearby. The reunion itself mattered more emotionally than walks, treats, or stimulation afterward. You may notice your dog frequently seeking physical contact without needing anything practical from you. They lean against your legs, rest paws on your lap, or quietly place their body beside yours during ordinary moments. Humans often interpret these gestures casually, almost forgetting how intentional physical closeness actually becomes in social mammals. Touch regulates stress, reinforces attachment, and communicates safety long before language ever enters the equation. For your dog, leaning against you is emotionally grounding. Their nervous system literally relaxes through trusted physical contact. Especially with humans, they emotionally identify as protective figures, capable of reducing anxiety and environmental uncertainty. That quiet weight pressed gently against your side can carry extraordinary meaning. Your dog is not merely touching a human body. They are reconnecting physically with the emotional center of their safest social relationship. Another sign appears when your dog constantly seeks your approval before making decisions in unfamiliar situations. They pause, glance toward you, then continue only after reading your facial expression, tone, or emotional reaction carefully. Most people think their dog simply wants permission because they were trained properly. Training matters, but attachment psychology matters too. Dogs instinctively reference emotionally trusted figures when uncertainty or novelty creates hesitation inside their environment. Young mammals naturally look toward protective individuals when determining whether situations are safe or dangerous. Your dog performs the same emotional calculation repeatedly, using your reactions as guidance for interpreting unfamiliar experiences safely. When your dog checks your face before greeting strangers, crossing streets, or entering new spaces, they are revealing something deeply relational. Your emotional responses help organize their understanding of the world surrounding both of you. Some dogs become unusually protective without aggression whenever their favorite human feels physically vulnerable, emotionally distressed, or socially threatened. They position themselves nearby, monitor strangers carefully, or refuse to leave during emotionally intense moments. People sometimes misinterpret this behavior as dominance or possessiveness. Yet many bonded dogs are responding instinctively to emotional disruption, affecting someone they psychologically perceive as essential to their social structure and personal security. Dogs sensitive to attachment often feel responsible for remaining emotionally close during vulnerable situations because your distress indirectly affects their own nervous system. Your emotional instability temporarily disrupts the safety pattern organizing their world. That is why certain dogs remain beside grieving owners for hours without moving much at all. They are not solving problems logically. They are emotionally staying connected to the person their instincts tell them matters most. One subtle but powerful sign appears when your dog copies your behaviors unconsciously. They yawn after you yawn, relax when you relax, become alert when you tense up, or match your emotional energy unexpectedly. Many owners dismiss this as coincidence because the imitation happens quietly throughout daily life. But emotional mirroring is strongly connected to attachment and social synchronization in both humans and highly bonded animals. Dogs closely bonded to parental figures often synchronize behavior automatically because their brains continuously monitor emotional patterns for safety cues. Your body language becomes informational material, helping regulate their reactions and emotional expectations constantly. Without realizing it, your dog may have slowly adapted their emotional rhythms around yours over months or years. That invisible synchronization becomes one of the clearest signs your relationship extends far beyond ownership alone. Another heartbreaking sign emerges when dogs age. Older dogs frequently become more emotionally dependent on trusted humans, following closely, seeking reassurance constantly, and becoming distressed more easily whenever separation suddenly occurs. Many people assume aging simply increases confusion or anxiety. While physical changes matter, senior dogs also lean harder into attachment bonds because declining strength increases emotional reliance on familiar protective figures within their environment. An aging dog choosing your side repeatedly is not weakness alone. It is trust accumulated across years of emotional consistency, routines, safety, forgiveness, comfort, and quiet companionship surviving countless ordinary moments together. By that stage, your scent, voice, footsteps, and presence become deeply embedded into their emotional memory. You are no longer just part of life. You feel like life itself, continuing safely around them. What makes these signs emotionally overwhelming is realizing how quietly dogs communicate them. They never announce attachment directly. They express it through routines, body positioning, eye contact, emotional sensitivity, and invisible behavioral patterns repeated daily. Meanwhile, humans often spend years misunderstanding those behaviors completely. We see habits while dogs experience relationships. We notice routines while they experience reassurance, dependency, emotional regulation, and social belonging unfolding beneath ordinary moments. Your dog does not care whether your house is perfect, your career succeeds, or your appearance changes over time. They care whether your emotional presence remains recognizable, safe, and available within the relationship they built around you. That emotional loyalty explains why dogs forgive mistakes humans struggle forgiving themselves for. To deeply bonded dogs, connection matters more than perfection because attachment operates through trust, consistency, and emotional familiarity rather than achievement. Some dogs even memorize human routines so precisely that slight emotional disruptions immediately affect their behavior. They notice sadness before tears appear, tension before arguments begin, and loneliness before humans consciously acknowledge feeling isolated themselves. This sensitivity develops because attachment forces dogs to become extraordinary observers of emotionally important individuals. Their survival instincts evolved around predicting moods, behaviors, and environmental changes connected directly to trusted social figures nearby. The extraordinary part is that your dog likely understands versions of you hidden from other humans completely. They know your exhausted footsteps, your silent grief, your anxious breathing, and your peaceful moments without needing explanations. And despite everything humans misunderstand about dogs, they continue offering emotional loyalty with astonishing consistency. Again and again, they return beside us quietly, asking for almost nothing except closeness, familiarity, and emotional inclusion in return. Eventually, something shifts inside people who truly recognize these signs. The relationship stops feeling transactional. Your dog is no longer simply a pet receiving care. They become an emotionally connected life, constantly interpreting the world through you. You begin noticing how often your dog studies your face before relaxing, how quickly they search for you during uncertainty, how deeply their body softens whenever familiar reassurance finally enters the room again after stressful moments. That realization changes responsibility too, because once you understand your dog emotionally depends on your presence, your patience, stability, and affection, suddenly matter far beyond food schedules or daily exercise routines alone. Your dog may never describe you using human words, but through attachment, trust, and emotional dependence, they already revealed the role you occupy inside their world repeatedly across countless unnoticed moments together. To them, you are comfort during fear, direction during uncertainty, calm during chaos, and home during separation. Those emotional roles resemble parenthood far more closely than most humans ever realize until much later. Maybe that explains why losing a deeply bonded dog feels unlike losing anything else. The relationship was never shallow companionship. It was years of silent emotional dependence woven invisibly into everyday routines and ordinary life. And perhaps the most beautiful part is knowing your dog made that decision willingly. Out of every human interaction possible, they emotionally chose you as the center of safety inside their deeply feeling world. So tonight, when your dog quietly follows you down the hallway or watches you across the room, notice the meaning differently. You are not simply being observed. You are being trusted in the deepest way they understand. And somewhere beneath those familiar eyes, ancient instincts, and quiet routines, your dog may already see you as something far more important than an owner, something closer to family, safety, and home itself. If you listen carefully after this, your dog's smallest behaviors may never feel ordinary again.